Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pass and Punch podcast. This is presented by Sportser Media. That is my company. I'm going to be your host. I'm Chase. This is a podcast, pretty self-explanatory name. It's about UFC and it's about the NFL. Like I said, I'm your host Chase, and I'm joined by Andrew. Andrew, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man.
You're gonna see Andrew pretty frequently. We talked earlier about starting a podcast to kind of let our thoughts out on the NFL and UFC. Because Andrew, you're a really big UFC guy. You love the UFC, and it's also a Birds fan. I'll preface this now: we are both Eagles fans. Yes, we're all Philly, but that doesn't mean we're gonna show bias or whatnot. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it how it is. We're gonna discuss the Super Bowl and the bogus that went in that Super Bowl and reasons we lost, because we lost, unfortunately. I'm planning to have this out every Saturday, or every other to start. We're probably going to do some pre-fight shows on the UFC. I think Andrew brought that up. Meet up early, before the fights and kind of discuss things that are going on. We got some good topics to talk about today regarding fights, because we got some good fights coming up. You know what I mean? But without further ado, let's get right into it. NFL season had just ended. It just recapped. Unfortunately, we're without the NFL for a little bit, which kind of sucks. But there's some surprises this season. There was some letdowns this season. The first thing I want to discuss, obviously, unfortunately, is the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Drew, when you were watching that game, when did you really think and know it was over?
Oh man, I really had hope, like, pretty late into that game. When even in the late in the fourth, when there was 8 seconds left and we had that one last play, that's when I was like, oh damn,
we really just lost this game.
Yeah, it sucked.
I thought everything, it was just shaping out to be like, you had that Dallas Goedert sideline catch
With his helmet.
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome.
That big play to A.J. Brown. It
Yeah.
was just shit. I thought these were going to be iconic moments, and it was going to be the Jalen Hurts is going to get his shot. But
Unfortunately, it was when we drove. The Eagles had drove down, and they scored that touchdown. Jalen Hurts ran in the 2-point conversion, right? And then the whole thing was get a stop on the Chiefs right there and then. Get a stop when they go down. They drive down, 3rd and 9. They throw that wheel route to Juju Smith, and it took 10 seconds for the penalty to come in. But I was jumping up and down. I was freaking out because, well, there it is.
time on the clock, and we're moving.
We're gonna get this ball back, and we're gonna either kick a field goal or score a touchdown and go to overtime possibly. And then the yellow came on the screen, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, And there's a lot of controversy about the call. Yeah, I get it. Do you make it about the refs and make that call there? Typically, no. You don't want to do that. But unfortunately, it happened. Is that the reason we lost the game? No.
Ultimately, no, we lost the game because we didn't get a single stop that whole second half. That flag at that point in the game was maybe a little ticky tack, and it really did hurt us, and it took away a chance for Jalen Hurts to make an iconic moment and take us down the field and potentially win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, potentially win the Super Bowl.
But there was a lot of moments that.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Credit to the Chiefs offense. That Patrick Mahomes, even though he didn't do the typical Brady take a pay cut and load your team up, like, it doesn't matter who you throw at wide receiver for that guy. He's going to produce. I mean, they lost Tyreek Hill in the offseason, right? He had a phenomenal season with the Dolphins, but regardless, if it's MVS or it's Juju or it's Randy Moss at the age of 45, it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. He's so electric just as a QB.
No, I knew going into that game, I was worried about there was going to be some big moments where it's crucial points in the game and he's going to be able to use his legs and get that extra 15 yards for first down where we needed to stop, or that throw that just out of nowhere he's scrambling and the throwing angles off and he just makes a throw out of nowhere.
It was one other thing that killed me, right, is like going into the season, going into even the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the Eagles had this amazing defense, and although the concern was rushing defense, ever since they stopped Derrick Henry in the early weeks, it was like, yeah, they're going to be fine. Like, if they can stop Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones and all these guys, then they can stop Isaiah Pacheco. But it proved wrong in the second half when there was like back-to-back 8, 9, 10-yard runs, like back-to-back to back.
They came out in the second half and ran the ball effectively. And I think also a big part of the reason they were able to do that is because that is not something we had to experience a lot throughout the season. We kind of played with a lot of leads.
Yeah, and I don't know. The game, it hurts so...
We had a lead going in.
We did. And that's it. The amazing post run by the Eagles was something to live down. They had the most sacks in playoff, team history, or playoff history, something along those lines. They had the most rushing touchdowns by a team. Jalen Hurts has the most rushing. They were. It's funny how in reality it's like the Chiefs flipped the script on the Eagles. They rushed it and then passed effectively when they needed to. Mahomes didn't light up the yardage and everything, right? It was a good team win. They had a great team win. Our offense was probably the better offense in the game, but they came up. They made the moments when they needed to.
That one big turnover right before the half, that was about basically a 14-point swing on that. Besides that fumble, Jalen Hurts was practically perfect the whole game, and he never made a play like that the whole season.
But it's a big butt. It's a big butt. He had that fumble. Oh my gosh, man.
That was big. We had an opportunity to go up 2 scores there. And I just knew it right then and there. I was watching the game with my brother, and I was just like, oh my God, that was huge. I was talking about it all halftime during Rihanna's.
I'm about to start tearing up, dude.
Oh my God, it still hurts. I feel the same.
It's definitely tragedy because we're probably one of the best teams to never win a Super Bowl, to get there and never win it because we were so good. We were so good.
This was a historically good team in a lot of ways. I mean, we had 2 receivers over 1,000 yards, over 90 catches, or I think AJ Brown had 88 catches, but he still tied the previous record, and Devontae Smith broke it, right, with 95.
Yeah, and I think Smitty, AJ Brown will prove to be one of the better wide receiver duos of the league for the next few years.
I think they already are if they haven't.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And the longevity, because this team, it looks like we're going to be able to keep a lot of the core together, the young core.
Yeah,
the Jalen Hurts with his, and he's got the chemistry with those receivers, that duo.
Well, good thing that team's young. And on the topic of the Chiefs, real quick, I wanted to bring this up. They just lost Eric Blenemy to the Commanders, who's now in the NFC East, which kind of sucks, but that's big for them. I think it's outrageous that Blenemy doesn't have a head coaching job now. I think that's crazy to me, but I want to see Patrick Mahomes with I'm thinking who they promote, Matt Nagy. It was Matt Nagy. They promoted Matt Nagy to the offensive coordinator, and I think that's a big loss for them. I would say so, right? I mean, Eric Blenemy is a great offensive coordinator.
It's kind of strange for him to take a lateral change like that.
The thing behind it was Blenemy, I think it was the play calling. If I'm remembering, he wanted the ability to be the play caller. And on top of that, I think there's a little inside of him everyone's saying, oh, Reed is such a great coach. Reed is such a great coach. You don't see Blenemy's name in the credit. You know what I mean?
Right, he's not.
I think, and if you see Washington with Sam Howell take a step this season, you're going to say Blenemy, not Rivera, Blenemy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I do think if he has a good season that he does get a head coaching job somewhere. I hope so.
Right.
I mean, I hope so. It's about time.
I mean, yeah, I think Eric Bieniemy is definitely going to be calling the plays, and I think he's definitely going to have a good effect on the offense.
Yeah, he's going to have a good one.
He's good with those little tricky plays and getting the running back involved in the pass game.
Yeah, definitely. And with the on the topic of off-season additions and whatnot, Lamar came out yesterday or 2 days ago and said that his deal or his agent or some sort said that he's in the range of $250 million guaranteed. I don't know. I forget how we feel on Lamar collectively, but to me, I'm not paying a quarterback that much money when you can't even guarantee me you're going to be healthy for a full season.
No, I kind of agree with you on that. I mean, Lamar, he's proven for a long time he's a great player, great quarterback, but he's had a lot of opportunities with some pretty good teams and pretty good situations, and he's never really been able to get them to that next level. Yeah. And he hasn't shown that he's going to be able to do that. And that's a lot of money to guarantee for somebody like that. It might be, I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Here's the thing with Lamar Jackson, though. If you do sign him, you're taking so much money, then bringing in the biggest need other than that is a wide receiver. I mean, the number one is Rashad Bateman. It's if you're going to sign Lamar, it's going to be the same issue he had the last few years. all he has is Mark Andrews. There's no other person for him to really throw to, and I think the Ravens got a little something going. There's a report that the Atlanta Falcons were in the mix eventually. If a trade were to happen or something along those lines, like Atlanta would pay him that money. But personally, I just wouldn't give him the money. I wouldn't give him that much money. And the fact that they're $100 million off of a deal just tells me that I don't think he's going.
That's a lot. That's a lot of ground to close.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's gonna go. I don't know how they're gonna make that deal. Because they did sign Raquan Smith to an extension, a fairly large one as well. Which
great
hurts
linebacker, great leader on the defense.
Probably one of the best middle linebackers.
You're hoping that you're gonna be able to get Lamar to take a more down to earth contract and get him to take like a little bit of a hometown deal. Like the Ravens gave him a shot and he's had a good career with them and they've been working together pretty well. You're hoping to get him on a team friendly contract.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like that.
I think more players that are such superstars need to evaluate and take more team-friendly deals to make sure that you stay, at star-studded around you. Because we look at another quarterback who's going to be wanting a deal soon, or Jalen Hurts. I mean,
our guy,
and he hasn't came out publicly or said anything. But I think just reports have put his number up near $50 million. But I mean, I want to hear from him rather than.
Because it's a good business move for them to try to put winning first. Because winning improves everything with your finances. The money will definitely come if you're winning.
Yeah.
If you could take a team-friendly deal to put your team in a good situation and put winning as the priority, that's the way to go.
Definitely. Because, the Eagles have to think about something because they're going to sign. They want to get Jalen Hurts an extension. Then you have to worry about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury, Miles Sanders, Isaac Salamalu, the whole defensive front, it seems. So, and they lost both their coordinators. It's either, I don't know, if he takes $50 million a year, if we give him $50 million a year, I think the Eagles take a step back next season. I think they'll still be I still think they'll still be in the top 4 seeds, but I don't see them being the number 1 seed because if they give him that much money, there's a concern where you're not going to be able to bring back Sanders, James Bradbury, or Chauncey. They'll find a way to bring Chauncey back because they're going to tag him if not.
I think he's prioritized.
Hargrave. Yeah. I mean, TJ Edwards and Kaiser. So there's a concern there. There's definitely a concern.
They're going to have some tough choices to make.
Yeah. Well, you see what Joe Burrow did, right? He came out publicly, him and his agent said that he's willing to take a team-friendly deal, which is a reason why I think the Bengals will be one of the top teams in the NFL next year and probably lead way to an AFC Championship game.
And that puts them in a great position for the future because Joe Burrow's going to continue to grow, and he put the organization in a position to where they can continue to support him.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the Bengals doing that with a team-friendly deal just allows like Jamar Chase to be able to get a contract in a few years, keep Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins around, keep that Sam Hubbard around, the whole all that offensive line power, La'el Collins, all those guys, that gives them the chance to stack up with an offensive line, which is like their biggest need because they're just always Joe Burrow's always getting sacked.
That's the main problem with them.
He's like the Iron Man, man. He is like he's like the Eli Manning who got like
he's a stud. I love Joe.
Just always got crushed. Definitely, I don't know. I think when we're thinking about next season as well, one of the biggest things I wanted to bring this up, but Sean Payton to the Broncos, I really like that move.
Do you?
Because he's bringing in his own crew, and they just signed Vaughn Joseph from the Cardinals for the defensive coordinator position.
Right.
Which is pretty interesting because I think Vaughn's a pretty good coordinator, and I think he'll work well with Sean Payton.
Kind of wanted him here, to be honest.
Vaughn, but now the Eagles are like looking at Rex Ryan, so that's something to think about as well.
Interesting.
What do you think with Sean Payton go to the Broncos? The next big question is how will Russ do? How will Russ do with the new coaching staff? How will Russ do with this whole new scheme that he's going to be getting? What do you think?
I mean, if you look at Russ, you can see some similarities with Drew Brees.
You think so?
I think so. And in a lot of their game, they're a small stature quarterback. They do a lot of the shorter passes.
Yeah, I think Russ is just a little more athletic, like the ability.
It's not a spitting image, but there's definitely some comparisons in their game. I think it's going to be a good situation for them. I kind of think I can see them making big improvements this year.
Did you expect them to have that kind of like fall off they did? Like I didn't when Russ was going there, like I had thought before that they were, and I'll preface this by saying that I do like Russell Wilson. I don't hate the guy. I thought they were a quarterback away. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, At the time.
Yeah,
You know, they had all these guys. Well, they had to trade Noah Fant, so I can't really count the tight end, but good running back Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. You know, you had all these guys, and they had a really good defense with like, you know, one of the best young corners in the NFL, Patrick Surtain. You know what I mean? And I just didn't know they were going to fall off like that, and it was concerning.
When the Broncos originally got Russ, I was like, they're dangerous. They're a good team. I did not expect them to fall off in the way that they did.
And then they, on top of that, and not only got Russ, but the issue is if Russ doesn't turn it around, they traded away their future. They traded away all those picks and all you know, Noah Fant and Geno Smith ended up going over there, and look at Geno now though. Oh, I'm sorry, Drew Lock went to Seattle. Geno was already there. So Geno was already there.
Right.
Comeback player of the year. Geno Smith had a pretty good season this year, and I'm happy for Geno after all these years to finally get something.
Yeah, how about that?
I'll tell you right now, I think the NFL needs to really clarify that award or look at it a little more. Again, not biased, but Brandon Graham, who came off a torn Achilles, and then he's 34 years old, and he had a career high in sacks, double digits.
Yeah, arguably the best season of his career.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what exactly did Geno come back from? Being benched, you know, or not just being a backup. So I think a word like breakout player of the year being introduced is a pretty good idea.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and then a comeback player of the year could be like, who else am I thinking of? I mean, you have like Brandon Graham, just other players that maybe came back from an injury. Saquon Barkley.
Two different types of awards. I like
Barkley's in there as well. But we're talking about the awards now. What's your opinion on Coach of the Year, and try to keep your Philly bias out of it because it's hard, man. I like what Dable did. Dable had brought that team into playoffs. I understand they were such a bad roster, but I mean, it's not like they got they didn't get 10 wins.
I don't see how the guy that won Coach of the Year beat a candidate that he lost to 3 times.
3 times.
And in one season. That just doesn't make sense.
3 times, dude. That's not good.
To me, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no. And on top of that, I even thought Doug Peterson was even a little more.
Yeah, he really got that offense going and that whole team, and he brought them to the playoffs.
It wasn't just a bad roster. Like, they had a promising quarterback, but that franchise is poverty.
Yeah.
To a lot of eyes, and to my eyes as well. I never thought they were a good franchise for a while now, since they had like Fred and.
I mean, they've never been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they were in the playoffs was like the 2016 run with Blake Bortles, but that was a miracle.
Right.
You know what I mean? They weren't really supposed to be there, and then like I don't know.
They were competing right down to the end of it with Kansas City too.
Yeah. Mahomes did go out, but still it was a good team. Like it was a good team. And they did that like 27-point comeback in the playoffs against the Chargers.
That was one of the best games I ever saw. That was awesome.
I love T-Law. I'm a big T-Law. Drew knows I'm a big T-Law guy. I'm a big T-Law guy. But yeah, I mean, Doug Peterson or Nick Sirianni is the two people I had thought were more in the running for it. But I mean, I can see where they're coming. I see the argument for Dable. I don't know. Maybe I thought they would go different direction.
I could see the argument, but I kind of agree with you. I mean, I would have went Doug, honestly. If it was up, that would have been who I would have.
Yeah. And then MVP being Patrick Mahomes, I'm okay with it. I understand he had a phenomenal season. If Hurts had stayed healthy, possibly I think he gets it, or I think he even gets more of a consideration.
Yeah.
But Mahomes had a phenomenal season. There's not really, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I like Mahomes.
No, that is what it is. I mean, Jalen Hurts will get his.
I hope so. I really do hope so. I think he'll be in the running for it.
He'll 100%.
And then Jeddah's got the Offensive Player of the Year award, which fair enough. I mean, it was like him, Saquon, but I mean, and Jalen Hurts is in the running for it as well. So I mean, I'll give that to Jeddah's. Jeddah's had a great season.
No, he definitely.
He's such a phenomenal wide receiver.
Oh,
he's just so excited, and he engages like the kids and whatnot into the NFL as well. Like he gets them in. You know what I mean?
He's a great player.
I don't know. I think that award was fair. I think that was good. I think all 3 of the awards, you have an argument. There was no like big controversy. Coach of the Year was a little bit of a controversy, but those 3 are fine. And then obviously you get into the, like I said, comeback player of the year, Geno, whatever. I mean, I just think he would have been better suited for a breakout player of the year or a breakout award.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just think he'd be more fit for that.
Right. It's his coming out party, really.
Yes. Yeah. And then you had the Jet. Was it the Jets? The Jets had both of them, the Garrett Wilson and the Sauce Gardner, having both of them, which is big for them. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's when you can really tell that, first of all, your franchise is starting to take a step up in drafting.
They're drafting
Your core's getting young. You have a lot of talent on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Figure out the quarterback position.
It's a big issue.
Yeah, it's a big issue with the Jets. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks that they're in that situation that a lot of teams fall into. That when you're a quarterback away, that sucks. You know what I mean?
It's really hard to get a good quarterback.
There's so many teams like that. Like the Saints are a quarterback away from competing. All these teams are just a quarterback away, which unfortunately, it happens. Zach Wilson didn't pan out. I think he might be back next year, but I don't think they really do anything with him. I mean, is he the future? I don't know. I think he already tarnished his reputation with them, and then vice versa.
If anything, for any shot of him, he needs a new change of scenery.
Yeah,
I think it's gotten toxic with the Jets, and it's not going to work out. The way he handles the media there, he already has a bad relationship with the organization. Yeah,
and then you look at the other award, the Walter Payton Award, as announced at the Super Bowl. Dakota Rain Prescott. Congratulations. Listen, I don't condone or like I'm not okay with it. I don't know if you Eagles fans there booed him when he got it. The only issue with that is if he was accepting a different award, but that's the Walton Payton Award. That does recognize good on and off the field achievements. Right. I see why you're booing him. He's the Cowboys quarterback. You hate the Cowboys, but that is the most prestigious award. So it's hard to boo him there. It kind of gives us a bad look.
Right.
Gives us a bad look. It really does. That's most of the awards covered. Going into the next season, there's a lot of storylines obviously with the Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Sean Payton. I'm definitely excited for the next season. I can't wait.
Even in Chicago, they're having quarterback questions.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, and because the original report was that they were going to trade list offers for the first round for the first pick and then trade back a little bit, right? But then there was another thing where someone said they might go get Bryce Young.
That's what I heard. So
what do you do?
I think you got to give Justin Fields a receiver before you move on from him. I think he really showed a lot of flashes last year.
No, he did. I think
even against us.
Yeah, I mean, his passing game leaves a lot to be desired. It does, truthfully, but that can get fixed. I mean, we've seen it so many different times where people take a step up once you get him a good wide receiver. Jalen Hurts, right? Yeah, it's another.
Yeah.
Get him a superstar. Trade for a superstar. There's so many, or even a better than average wide receiver. I mean, Darnell Mooney, he was injured most of the season anyway. Chase Claypool, he's not number one. He's barely a number two anymore. So you got to get him a superstar, and then he'll probably take the run up.
I think he'll take a big step after that.
He's that dual threat.
Go out there and get him a stud receiver on the outside.
Yeah, because he's the dual threat. He is a very I love Justin Fields in college, and I love him now. I want to see him take a next step up next year, but that's only going to happen from management. Unfortunately, they have to get someone for him. They have to. I mean, if not, I just don't know if he'll prosper in that. You know what I mean? Young quarterbacks taking a step up this year. You had the Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence, he took a.
Absolutely, he showed he could play in the big games too. Come back.
Yeah, I mean, he's the first. When you're the first overall pick, a lot is expected of you. Of course, obviously, you're the first round pick, and it started off rough again with Doug. He was throwing interceptions. He was not throwing the ball well. And then he took a step up. Towards the end of the season, he started really, really going, and I'm happy for him. I love T-Law. I love what he stands for. I love his hair. His hair is fucking awesome, dude.
Everybody does.
But I think T-Law develops even more with under Doug.
I do too.
Doug's good.
I think it's a good situation for them together.
Yeah, Doug progresses quarterbacks. I mean, we saw with Carson.
Yeah.
Even he has a good eye. They drafted Jalen Hurts. I think he has a pretty good eye for quarterbacks. Yeah, and knows how to really develop them.
Good offensive mind.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I want to bring up. One thing when you lose a playoff game because of an unfortunate situation, it's okay to be upset about it. It's okay to show anger. It's okay to complain a little bit. But when you're going on podcasts and Radio Row and just bashing the other team, telling you're going to put all your money on the other opposing team they're playing.
Oh, right.
The 49ers is who I'm referring to, by the way. They, they rightfully were upset that Brock Purdy had gotten hurt. Do I think it would have changed the outcome of the game if he was in? Maybe a little bit, but I still think the Eagles would have won. But like, I mean, you have Robbie Gould, who's a kicker, complaining about the quarterback.
Like,
stay in your lane, dude.
just shut up.
Worry about kicking field goals.
Oh my god, that is so ridiculous. They did not lose that game on any one play. They lost that game on every single play. We dominated them in every way.
And then Debo's being like downright disrespectful. Brandon Ayuk being downright disrespectful. They're gonna get exposed. Like that is just so frustrating because like it must suck. It must suck being home. Like it must suck, dude. It must suck. Yeah. They were really salty though, and I think that's a bad look. I feel like that's a really bad look.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and even especially for Kyle Shanahan because
nobody's taken any ownership for the loss at all. They just want to make an excuse immediately. Only excuses.
And like, is Kyle Shanahan like condoning their responses? Like accepting? Like, if I'm the coach, I'm like, yo, guys, relax. We
lost.
Get out.
We lost.
Let's
get
better.
They outplayed us.
Yeah.
In every facet of the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't just quarterback play.
I would be upset too if Jalen Hurts had gotten hurt. I would be. But I'm not going to sit here and harp on it. Just like the Super Bowl, I could sit here and harp on the penalty, the turf.
You still need to win the game.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter.
Oh man, it is just that really stressed me out. That really did.
Their quarterback got hurt because they could not slow down the pass rush.
Yeah.
And anybody they put back there, we were crushing them.
Yeah, and it just sucks to like how that ended for their season. But like, dude, leave it alone. Just go get better. Just go get better. That's what the Eagles did. The Eagles had lost the Super Bowl. They didn't complain about the flag. Didn't do all this. Blah blah blah. We took accountability, and then we went forward, and then we did what we had to do, and we worked, and we're just gonna go in the next season. We're going to the next season,
it, man. I feel good about it as long as we got number 1 and Nick Sirianni.
Got some new head coaches going into the league next year. Shane Steichen and both Jonathan Gannon. Shane Steichen, I think he's a great offensive coordinator. I think he knows how to be with the players. I think he knows how to call plays very well. There's sometimes where there's a lot to be desired, but that's okay because you're allowed to make mistakes. But he mixes it up well, and I think he'll be good for Indianapolis. Get them a quarterback. They need to trade. Get a quarterback, and I think they'll produce. I think they'll produce.
Yeah, they have a lot of good pieces, a lot of good foundation. That offensive line is really, really good.
DeForest, Groover, Stewart. You have Kenny Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Moore. You have Shaq Leonard. Yeah, Shaq Leonard, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. They have a pretty good team. Like they just need a quarterback. And they had thought that Matt Ryan would be the answer. Unfortunately, Matt's a little washed. He's getting a little old.
Yeah. Late and $1 short.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Matty Ice had a pretty good run, but it looks like it came to an end. Whatever. But Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, and it's funny because the Arizona Cardinals were so late on hiring our head coach, and one of the reasons is the diva at quarterback is Kyler Murray. That dude's a diva, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much the locker room likes him. I don't know, but the whole report with like the gaming in his contract and stuff like that, like I don't know. I just
ridiculous.
I feel like any coach in that situation is going to have a hard time at first.
Yeah.
Hey, you think Jonathan Gannon be a good head coach?
Not at all. I think he was a big part of the reason that we lost the Super Bowl.
That's aggressive, dude. Wow.
No, I honestly hate that clown.
Yeah.
I think he sabotaged our defense.
As you can tell, we're pretty upset. We're pretty upset about him.
Yeah,
the fact
emotional.
The fact that he didn't have to address the media.
Yeah, he got to just walk out of here without saying anything. Like, how come your defense, who was so high rated, wasn't able to generate a single stop in the second half?
Or like a pressure.
Right.
Not even like a
Not
pressure.
a single sack. You had over 70 sacks throughout the year, but you couldn't generate one in the Super Bowl.
And then
why?
On top of that, they go and hire a 29-year-old defensive coordinator from the Eagles, which is obviously one of Gannon's guys, I would assume, because he came from the Eagles. But that's a young coordinator, man. I mean, there's players that are older than him everywhere on the field. Yeah. Like, that might be a little weird respect issue there.
Yeah, weird dynamic there.
I mean, they're grown men, and they should respect their coach. But like, when coach is like a few years younger than you, it's like, oh crap, I don't know.
You don't know the guy.
He's a linebackers coach. From us, guess he coached up our linebackers pretty well. But at times, actually, I thought our linebackers could have been a lot better. But the Cardinals had got their head coach for maybe a year. I don't know. I don't like Gannon. Listen, he's not a bad coach. Like,
Maybe a year.
he's not a horrible coach, right? He had the number one defense, all that, one bad game, but like when you really look at it,
Right. He did do a lot of good with us.
he always stopped the really bad quarterbacks or like the mid quarterbacks, but could never really do anything against the good quarterbacks, and that's an issue. I mean,
Yeah, the same questions that he always had, he kept throughout his whole tenure here.
they were never answered.
He was always we always knew he was a good defensive coordinator, but there were some questions and he never answered them.
No, he never did, and that sucks. That sucks. He never addressed the media too. I can't believe. I hate that. I really do hate that. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a good season next year. We got a lot of people moving. Derek Carr's gonna be in a new team. Aaron Rodgers just got back from his like retreat in the darkness.
No Brady at all.
By the dark.
I'm excited for that. A year of no Brady, first time.
Finally.
Yeah,
Finally, man.
Thank
We still have
God.
Rodgers. Rodgers will be the last one to
Even
go.
playing field, no cheating, no nothing, just some clean football all year.
Where do you think Rodgers goes?
Ooh, I don't know. What do you think about? I heard Jets.
Well, because
That's
the
interesting.
Jets had signed Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator position, because that's who Aaron Rodgers had in Green Bay, and it's also who the Denver Broncos had during their worst season. But whatever, they're only doing it to get A-Rod in the building because
Right.
I think if he does go to the Jets, I think that does propel the Jets. I don't think that's a Russell Wilson situation.
Oh,
I think,
absolutely.
I think Aaron Rodgers is just ultimately a very good quarterback.
I think any team Aaron Rodgers goes to, he makes better instantly.
I think it's him. And, personally, I do think it's time for him and the
What
Packers.
about him going and meeting back up with Devontae Adams?
Oh, and the Raiders. That's also in the books.
That
That is.
That's an option.
Vegas is a good market too.
Yeah,
Vegas is a good market. And
Devontae Adams was calling for him too.
he's to get a place at the golf tournament. Yeah. I don't know. I think you either have Derek Carr to the Jets or Raiders, or Aaron Rodgers to the Jets or Raiders. I don't know if personally to me, I don't think any other teams in the consideration. The Saints are interesting. The Saints
Like a dark horse.
for both of them, probably a dark horse for both of them. But I don't know. I don't know. Saints haven't seemed too aggressive. I think they brought in Derek Carr for a workout. I do believe so. But even first of all, you hear the Jets said the Derek Carr.
Nah,
It'd be a Hall of Famer.
really?
Dude, that's like guaranteeing everything. That's like 250 million guaranteed. Like in my head.
They said a
like,
lot
the
about
same
Zach
comparison.
Wilson too.
Yeah, you'll be a Hall of Famer if you come here. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be a Hall of Famer if I get like.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that.
How about Aaron Rodgers' darkness retreat? That's great.
That's interesting.
They showed the pictures of it online after.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't
it
see
was-
that.
I mean, it wasn't really like he was in like a hobbit hole. Like he was in like a nice place, but like, it wasn't like it was a hobbit hole.
It was like a 5-star dark retreat.
Yeah. Yeah. It was quite funny. Aaron Rodgers is someone who is just so interesting with the whole Joe Rogan thing, and he's doing like perks before games.
Oh yeah,
Well,
you always see him.
I think he said perk. He said a perk before a game.
Was it that?
Which is crazy, dude. You're popping perks and throwing bombs to Devontae Adams. Like, oh my gosh. He's talking about like tripping on psychedelics.
Yeah, he's out there, man.
What the hell else does that guy do? Oh
Throw
my-
touchdowns,
oh my
baby.
gosh. He's interesting. Thing about the Packers is, when Jordan Love had gotten his chance in the Eagles game, he actually showed a lot. He threw that one ball to Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Game was kind of over at that point. Not over, but it was over. And right after that, it was like questions like, "Oh, should he be the starter?" Like, I think they have something to think about next year because
Yeah.
I think if you don't give Jordan Love the starter by next year,
Then it's like, what are you doing with him?
he's
It's-
probably gonna request a trade.
right. It's kind of like he's in this lull period, and
You're wasting his career. at that
Right,
point. He's
right.
a first round pick.
You're gonna have to. You have to be just you have a window. You do have a window with these guys to start stuff, and it's like you got to be decisive.
Yeah. You can't just like out of nowhere like
If you want to at least find out if he's your guy.
if he get another bench another year, nonetheless, he won't get in a second contract. He's not going to sign one.
Right.
He's going to request a trade or something because I mean, first of all, why would you freaking draft him?
Right.
Yeah,
What was the plan there?
That was quite stupid.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even one of those Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts.
It looked like it was a clear same thing, kind of like what they did with Brett Favre.
and A-Rod.
It looked
yeah.
like it was that situation, but I don't know. That's
kind of that kind of a similar situation there.
That's what I thought, but it's just playing out weird. I don't know.
So the Bucs are interesting now too because Tom Brady's gone.
Right.
And that team is still good. Like it's still a good team. They still have a very good team. It's there's a
Good
quarterback,
defense.
third year QB Kyle Trask. They came out a report today that they're going to give him a chance to start. They're going to give him a chance to, a chance to grab the starter position. But, I mean, I don't know how a highly touted prospect he is, but sitting behind Brady for 3 years, that must help him a lot, you think?
I mean, it can't hurt being behind Brady.
No. Because
for that long.
You're being behind the greatest.
Yeah.
Like, the greatest of all time.
Hopefully he's coaching him up and teaching him things. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I do think, regardless, they do take a step back.
Yeah.
Losing Brady and going forward.
Throwing in just like a random quarterback. Like,
right.
You don't know who they're going to throw in there. I mean, wild card.
Right. It'll be interesting, though, to see if he does progress and if they got something with him.
It'd be interesting if, like, Rodgers were to go there.
Ooh, yeah.
Just back-to-back Hall of Famer quarterbacks.
Yeah, just be like, all right, anybody can just go to...
One of the greatest of all time and then one of the most talented of all time. It's just interesting to think about. Yeah, I don't know what the Bucs are going to do. Give the young guy a chance, maybe. But if you can get Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I don't see why not. You're a quarterback away still.
You still basically have largely the same team.
Yeah, the Vita Vea or Vita Vea. Yeah, they still have Vita Vea. I can never say his name right. I mean, yeah, they have something to think about. They definitely have something to think about. The Dallas Cowboys, another quarterback, that when he had thrown that game away against the San Francisco 49ers, there was a lot of questions on what's going to happen with him.
I hope they keep him.
I think they will. I think they do keep him. But apparently they're interested from C.J. Stroud from Ohio. Jerry Jones had apparently said something. That report came out. But I think they stick with Dak one more year.
I mean, it's probably honest. Trying not to be biased here, it probably is going to be hard for them to justify moving on from him. He is a good, serviceable quarterback, and at times he even plays at a higher level than that.
Yeah, there's times where he really shows up.
Yeah. There's
times where he has really good games, but then there's also really bad Dakota moments.
Right.
Like it's
right.
He's one of those quarterbacks. He got to this year. He got really careless with the ball. Like the year before that, I can't. Well, was that the year he was injured most of the? No, that was 2 years ago when Andy Dalton had taken over.
Right.
But like when he is healthy and good to go, like when he saw Amari, like he was a good player. Their whole thing is they need another wide receiver, which they probably do. But I don't know, Dak.
They'll just always that organization just always finds a way, no matter how good they are, to ruin it.
I hate that organization.
They always figure out.
I hate him.
They always lose in great fashion.
And if Jerry Jones wasn't the owner, I'd probably have a little more respect for them. But I just don't like Jerry Jones either.
Nah, not even then. I can't stand them.
Jerry Jones is like the owner and the GM.
Yeah, he just wants
get a GM, dude. You're like 90 years old. Get a GM.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And then Michael Parsons being apparently snubbed out of the Defensive Player of the Year. He didn't get one vote, which he probably should have got a vote because he had a phenomenal season.
Oh, yeah,
but I think
absolutely.
Nick Bosa deserved it. I do. I think Nick Bosa deserved it. You like Michael Parsons?
I do. I have to admit, if it was up to me, I would probably give the edge to Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
To that defense. He's so crucial to that defense. A lot of them, they scheme around him.
Him and Diggs too. But I don't think Diggs is as good as people say, but he's still good. But Micah Parsons,
he gives us our respect too.
Yeah,
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Micah Parsons.
He's always been a good dude.
This is like unheard of in the rivalry, but he went on Twitter and shouted out Lane Johnson and said a bunch of good stuff about Lane Johnson, which is really interesting.
I think Eagles fans a lot of us will respect that.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I respect Michael Parsons. He's very outspoken about many other things, even political, which is always weird when you get a professional athlete who has that much reach into political stuff because. I don't know. Sometimes you want to take it out. Just take it out. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like you got your hands in too many baskets.
Right. But he said, Lane Johnson, this guy's been doing it. Love you, big dog. And it was like, that's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah.
Again, we hate the franchises, but players respect each other, and I respect players.
Right. I mean, they're still people.
Yeah. No, exactly. Next year, we're looking at I think Bobby Wagner just went on the market today.
Yeah.
He's getting released.
Yeah, I just heard about that. And I also heard they're potentially trying to dish out Ramsey in a trade.
Yes, I heard that.
Interesting. What are they doing there?
Just Amon-Ra St. Brown is it St. Brown? Yes. Yeah, Amon-Ra. He had tried to. He's like, you already played with Jared. Come over here and come play with us. Which, if that happens, Detroit, who I want to talk about next, will be a really good team.
Whoa, yeah.
I like Detroit next year's dark horse.
Dan Campbell had them
just 2 espresso coffees and 3 shots of a caffeine at 800. Oh god, I like Dan though. I like Dan Campbell.
Oh yeah,
I think that Detroit Lions team, I think they're more so a cornerback away from a quarterback away. Because Jared Goff is serviceable. Like Jared Goff, like he's not the like he throws a lot of touchdowns. Sometimes he's a little loose with the ball.
Yeah, he does have interception issues sometimes.
Yeah, he does. No, he does. But I don't know. I think I do. Jared Goff's serviceable. Like I said, I do think they're a cornerback away, more than a quarterback because they have that guy, Jeff Utica, or sorry if I'm not saying his name wrong. Akuda, thank you. He's pretty good, but he's not like the first round talent they thought he was. He had like an okay season this year, but they just got Hutch.
They thought that they were getting a lockdown corner with that. I did too.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the size, if he's just a little too small out there.
Maybe. And he had an injury his rookie year, which kind of set him back as well. That never helps in his rookie year. But you got like Hutch, Malcolm Rodriguez, Alec Anzalone, Levi. Oh my gosh, when did he tackle?
I think they might try to keep Jamal Williams.
Got a pair of good state. Oh yeah, Jamal Williams. He's like, I think he loves Detroit the way
he's like the heartbeat of that team.
Yeah,
I think they really need it. I think it would be good for them to keep him.
Him and Swift. That's a good combo right there. Yeah, the speedy guy, the elusive guy, and then you have the power back. Mm-hmm. Jamal's a funny figure. He's a good guy though. Talking about the Lions, I think next year, I think they're a good team next year. Like I think they make a push into the playoffs.
Even further, they take another step forward. I think so too.
Yeah. No, it's something about the Lions is that mentality they're starting to get into. On our way down, we're gonna bite a knee, or the way they bounce back. I have hopes for the Lions, and they were a few Geno passes away from going into the playoffs. So I think they have potential next year. I do.
Definitely.
I really do think so.
They got a good culture going. They got a good thing going down there.
Yeah, they do.
They're on the up. They're on the up and coming. They're trending up.
It's good to see the last few years how a lot of these like poverty franchises who are like making steps up again.
Right. The league is shaping out differently and shaking up. We're seeing a lot of rise of new. We're seeing a shift now. Like the exit of the old quarterback. It's the next generation.
The Jets. You had the Jets, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Giants. Like they're all picking up now, and I mean that's what it is. Like the NFL, you gotta be patient.
We're seeing a shift in generation, like no more Brady, no more Big Ben, no more Eli, Phillip Rivers, like that. And then now we're also seeing a rise in the young great quarterbacks. Like,
does that hurt you a little bit because you kind of grew up watching those guys?
It does a little bit, but it's also exciting.
No, but
the league's in good hands.
It's a new era, and I think
some good football. And
on top of that, I think we're seeing that not just in football, but I think we are entering a new age. UFC, you have the new champions coming up, and then you're looking
great cards coming up.
Yeah,
a lot of great talent in UFC.
We're actually about to transition that as well. So we have the football new generation, UFC new generation, the NBA with John Morant and those kind of guys. It's interesting. It sucks because the last generation we were like spoiled. Like there was so many great players, man.
Didn't realize what we were saying, but I feel like we're getting that again. It's a changing of hands.
Patrick Mahomes is like now the new Brady.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. There's a lot of good. It's
Jettas, Jamar Chase. Like you can name these guys for. Dude.
League is in good hands.
The sports overall, there's more talented prospects coming out. There's more people with more athletic ability. It's like we're evolving. It's like in between our eyes. But on the topic of the NFL going forward, I think the biggest things that right now is the quarterback signings. Like you got to get that figured. The quarterback signings is huge. Signing is
hopefully
huge.
You can get like a somewhat team friendly offer.
And I know you're not too involved in the draft. You're more, you never really got too involved in the draft. Yeah, but there is a very good draft class coming up. A lot of like SEC guys again. I do think there's some good quarterback prospects, and I do think that's another addition to the new generation.
Right around this time is when I start watching and looking in and seeing who's gonna go where.
That's a lot of people though. A lot of people do end up like because college football is so vast and huge. Sometimes it's hard to follow.
Right.
And typically. If you never went to one of those powerhouse colleges, like a lot of their fans are students and people in the area and people who went there too,
Right.
But yeah, I mean we're in a new age, and the NFL is just getting better and better. I mean, there's still the commissioner, there's still to be desired from him. The officiating, which I hope they fix.
Right,
and
they check that. There's always problems.
I don't know.
That might be every year. That's the human aspect of the game.
I don't know if you adapt if you guys have seen it, but the XFL had recently started and they had they had started a new officiating method with Dean Blandino, the vice president of officiating operations over there. Basically, if a call were to go on the field, we watched it live. It was awesome. So say they throw a touchdown and it's either a touchdown or a pick. They challenge it. It's a scoring review. The camera on the TV automatically flips up, and then you get this like cool where Dean Blandino has his headset on. He's communicating with the head officials, and he's like zooming in on the play. It's really
transparent with the
full
fans.
Transparent.
Yeah, no funny business going on. You know exactly. You see it out. I don't know what you guys think, but we've kind of been digging the XFL. I mean, that might be something that we could talk about more often as well. And because that'll give us more football to talk about. If you guys are liking it too, check it out. If not,
because in a month or two, football things are going to get slow.
It's good football. Interesting rule changes too. It's different.
Right after the April, football gets slow a little bit, and we'll still have XFL. But it would be cool to see some kind of G League kind of like adaptation from the NFL and the XFL. And even testing rules out in the XFL.
Right.
Like, I wish the NFL would adapt some of the rules. Like, even Twitter, all the media were saying how people wishing that they would adapt these rules because they're different. They're cool.
It's interesting. It's good, and you're still getting good football with the XFL. That's the main thing, really.
It's
entertaining to watch. It's a good product. Entertaining plays. The teams are into it. They're passionate. We had watched the opening game. I want to say it was the Battlehawks and the Vipers. I think that was the first game. I think so. And we sat down and we watched it. It was the very first XFL game. Yeah. Going into it, the promos and the commercial on TV, great quality. Yeah, great. They hyped us. We're getting goosebumps on our arms. We're like, let's go. Right. More football. Freaking out. I think that was really good. And then the commentators are really good. Yeah.
I think the level of football was exceeded my expectations.
That's what I was most worried about, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, and
we got more football.
You got some names in there and some cool guys. I think the only thing I want to say about the XFL they need to take out, they had thrown a touchdown. I think the Battlehawks had thrown a touchdown, and I'm not even kidding. Like, he remember 5 seconds after he took the touchdown, the reporter was like, get the mic on, and ran to the guy. So how was that touchdown? Like, talking to him. It was
that is
deep corner.
Kicker's about to kick off do the kickoff right to start the half. Guy runs out of the mic. He's like, he's got the ball about to put it on the tee. Hey, how you doing?
He's putting up the tee. He's like, the guy's like, where are you gonna put this kick at? The 2 or 3 yard line. It's like, bro, come on.
I don't know, but it could be cool though. You know, in big situations, like out of nowhere, like imagine them running out and talking to Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Like,
well, what I find kind of funny about the XFL is like when they kind of go live mic to the offensive coordinators, like 0 E Houston 1. It's like, what if like there's another guy from the other opposing team on the podcast? Houston 1 2 3 slant. It's a slant.
Here, you want me to just hold my phone up to it?
Yeah, that's a little concerning. Yeah, just a little bit.
Something weird about that.
Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah, to conclude like the football XFL session, we still got more football guys with the XFL, but we're gonna miss the NFL.
Oh, for sure. It's always go Birds.
It's always go UFC 285 is right around the corner. Little over a week, correct? A little over a week going off, and we are super excited.
A week from today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a week from today, guys. Isn't that exciting? Well, no further ado, Drew, go ahead and read us the fights that's going on.
We got a stacked card. Pretty eventful stuff coming up. The return of John Bones Jones after 3 years.
Woo!
For the vacant heavyweight title, fighting Cyril Gane.
Can't wait.
Valentina Shevchenko will defend her women's flyweight title against Alexa Grasso. We got a welterweight bout. Jeff Neal versus Shavkat. A lightweight bout versus Martez Gamrot. Sorry if I butchered that.
Sorry.
Versus Jalen Turner. And Bo Nickel, the first fight on the main card versus Jimmy Pickett.
Just got his introduction into UFC 4, Bo Nickel. Yeah. Well,
did he?
You know, we're going to have a show Saturday to really kind of outline the fight. We want to get down and dirty. We want to focus on the John Bones Jones, man.
Yeah, it's
John
big
Bones
news.
Jones.
It's huge.
Like I said, we are going to touch on all the fights. We are going to touch on all the fights, and get to it. But yeah, we want to talk John Bones.
Focus on Bones.
John Bones Jones, man. It's 3 years.
Yeah, it's been 3 years since he's last been in the cage.
Wow, a lot of on and off the.
Wonder how that alone will affect the fight.
Yeah, you definitely. And someone like John Jones, who's just like a super athlete, like probably not much. Like he'll probably like take like a little bit to get like into his old rhythm, but once he gets into that rhythm, I mean, I think we're gonna be watching a normal fight with John Jones.
He's one of the goats. He in my opinion, he is the goat.
And the only thing really weighing him down, I guess, is the off the ring stuff. You know,
Yeah, he did struggle with that.
that's really what's going on. But it seems like,
dude, but he just smashes people's face.
he does. He's so good.
He's a savage.
He's so strong.
You see what he did to a lot of well-respected fighters. He just dominated them, beat them handedly.
Well, one thing I like to talk about John Jones is, like, when you look at the first fight against Gustafsson, you know how much of a battle it was.
Yeah.
And then the second fight, the way he adapts,
Yeah.
the way he plays to his strengths and plays
He's
to
a
his
smart
opponent
fighter.
weaknesses is just awesome. It's awesome as a person who watches UFC to see. Like, you don't have to be a big fan to notice how great John Jones is, man. You don't.
It does not
you
take
don't
a
have
rocket
to.
scientist to see how great he really is. He's picking. He's strategically picking his opponent apart.
Many may say that this isn't the true fight that they wanted to see, and Francis Ngannou was going to fight we want to see, but let's not discount him.
This is still a great fight. I mean, Cyril Gane, he moves like a middleweight, and it's going to be very entertaining. He's a great striker, light on his feet. He's going to be mixing it up.
What's your opinion on Gane? You like him?
I think he's very worthy for the shot.
Strong dude.
Great, strong guy.
Yeah, great with his hands.
Yeah.
Good coordination. You know, again, does he have the ground game like Jones? No. But who really does? Like, how many people truly have his ground game?
Exactly.
You know, I told
But
Drew,
he does have the size advantage, and he's not a slouch on the ground. It will not be. This is in no way an easy fight for John.
No. And I talked to Drew and I said, you know, the way in my head, the way I see this fight going is either Gane wins up standing up, like he wins the stand-up game, or he gets submitted. Like, in my head, I'm only seeing two outcomes. Like, because I don't know, and I know you said you can't sleep on his kick or Jones's kicks and his top or his striking.
No, absolutely not. He has some devastating elbows in the clinch. It's going to be interesting to see how he's able to handle the way Gane's able to move at that size. It's going to be interesting to see who establishes the distance first.
Yeah, and I don't see like Jones coming out right away and like bringing him down like it comes out in Holland. Like I feel like this fight will be a little more paced. Like because
I see them both coming out pretty reserved. Yeah, I see them both coming out pretty reserved and technical and trying to feel each other. It might be a slow start to the fight.
5-round fight with two of the best fighters in the world. No matter who you are, Gane or Jones, like you're gonna be playing to your opponent and you're gonna show some kind of respect to your opponent.
And this is his first fight at heavyweight.
Yeah.
It's a big step up.
He looks good though. Have you seen his Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, he did it correctly too. It took him a long time to get to this weight.
He looks good. He looks scary. He's such a strong fighter. He is such a smart fighter, and he has such a bag of tricks.
Oh my god!
Any submission in the book, any kick in the book, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter with him.
And he mixes it up so well. He's a masterclass.
Yeah, and I know me and Drew, as soon as we can buy the fight, we're buying it. We'll be watching it here because I'm just so excited, man.
Can't miss it. 3 years.
If you had to like right now, kind of like before we do the fight show, like if you had to dictate like in your head, like a simulation, like how do you think the fight's gonna go?
How do I see this fight going? Wow, it could go. I mean, fights are a dynamic thing, so anything could happen, obviously.
Yeah,
but. I can see. I mean, it's so hard to go against John Jones. He is the GOAT, and I think he's gonna come out. It's probably gonna be a slow paced start. He might deal with some adversity with Cyril because Cyril's a great fighter. He might eat some shots and take some strikes, but I think John Jones is gonna be able to get it done and edge out a decision.
Yeah, because I think John can with his kicks and his clinching game, like. Him able to keep the distance, I think he'll be able to do it very well.
Yeah, I think he'll have the speed advantage maybe.
Because later in the rounds, I think Gane's going to want to get close. Gane's going to want to get close. Obviously, be wary of the takedown and his takedown defense up, but I feel like he's going to want to get close and get those strikes.
Right.
Because Gane's like the Dustin Poirier of heavyweight with how accurate his strikes are. And when they hit, they connect. You know, he's like kind of
snappy too.
Reminds me of Poirier in that way. Right. You know, I would say. But like John is like his jab, instead of being just like a point and click, like a point boom, like he is a extended like a snap jab, like Nick Diaz has, like
and he's advancing.
Yes, yeah, and his wrestling is so good. That's where Gane that's obviously where Gane's camp is probably worrying too. Is like
that's where I think John Jones can try to win this fight if he's able to sneak in a couple takedowns and keep it to the ground for a little while and drain out Cyril Gane and make him carry his weight and land a little bit of, do some work on the ground and stay on top of him, that's going to be huge for John Jones, especially when it gets into the later rounds of the fight. That's when that will pay dividends.
Yeah, and when Gane if Gane is like on the in the first round, if he's on the ground and he's getting and John's already stacking control time, like that's gonna be bad for Gane. Like he's got to like at least stay up for a few rounds, at least push the limit to get on your feet for a few rounds, because if not, again, both fighters are gonna get tired on the ground, but even with tired, like you got to give John that advantage, like on the ground. It's the ground game. We know John's ground game.
We've seen John Jones. We've seen more of him. Not recently, but we've seen a lot. We've seen John Jones, defend his belt 15 times. We've seen him. He's battle tested. We've seen him go through adversity.
Oh, my Lord, man. It is just going to be fireworks, dude. It really is.
It's going to be insane.
That's the thing is, like, the thing that's exciting about it is just how, like, we've been trying to get him to fight for a while now. Trying to get this Francis Ngannou. Trying to get him to come back and fight. Trying to get him back and fight. And finally they got the deal done. And for any backup that could have happened, this is one of the best options.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the most perfect matchups on paper that you could make for the fans.
Did Francis
and Gane
be an
entertaining fight?
Francis and Gane, did they fight last?
Yeah, Francis and he lost to Gane.
Yes.
Gane lost to Francis. Sorry.
Yeah, Francis. That's gonna be like that Khabib Tony Ferguson vibe, not having like the Gane or the Francis versus John Jones. Like, oh man, we wish it happened.
Just who never say never though.
Yeah,
we'll see what could happen. Maybe Ngannou could be back. I heard is he saying he'll be back?
Really?
Yeah.
Because part of me thinks he's gonna pursue a boxing career, because
he probably will.
That's where he'll get a lot of money.
Right.
But
Gane's coming off of a pretty good win off of Tai Tuivasa, where it was a pretty
he destroyed him,
lopsided performance, and
Ty's not a bad fighter.
Him. No, he's not, but he's it's not going to be the same fight as John Jones.
Not even close. No, Ty's coming off 2 losses. He lost to Hardy too.
Yeah,
he got knocked out.
No, not to Hardy. Who?
Yeah, but Gane is someone who is really exciting to watch for striking. Like, everyone loves to watch the UFC for striking. Like, not too many people are big fans of wrestling, and I understand, but it's beautiful. The ground game is beautiful, man. Like,
I love
people sleep on the ground game, man, because I just think it's a beautiful thing to watch. The way they do transitions, deny transitions,
and just seeing another man just say, I'm on top of you, I'm doing this to you, and there's nothing, you can't stop it.
I know. I'm
dominating you.
When I'm in a Tillis gym at Belmar, right down the street, I'm going there. I'm doing takedowns. I put my head in John Jones right there. Right. I'm like, I'm getting this takedown. I'll bring you to the ground. the way I love
holding you there. I don't know. Get up when I say you can get up.
Oh God, it's awesome.
So Tai Tuivasa's last fight was to Sergey Pavlovich,
but he lost. He hasn't been too hot recently.
He lost that one in the first minute.
Yeah, too much beer from the boot.
Yeah, too many shoeies, huh?
Is that for all Aussie fighters? Are there a lot of Aussie fighters do that?
I think it is. It's kind of I think it is an Australian thing. They get hype over that.
Yeah, apparently. Them and Nelk.
And I mean, I kind of get it. It gets me hyped too.
I know, but it's like,
I wouldn't do it myself, but
somebody's dirty ass shoe. Like, imagine John Jones winning the fight, going out and it's like, give me your shoe. Crack open a cold one.
Give me your cup.
Oh my gosh, man. And on top of things, real quick, The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I wanted to get that before we go back to Gane. The Ultimate Fighter is going to be featuring, the coaches will be Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. As you guys don't know, at the end of the season, what happens there, Joe? At the end of the season.
At the end of the season, we're going to see Iron Michael Chandler and the Notorious One face off in the octagon. It's going to be, well, we don't know specifically 155 or 170. Conor kind of jokingly said 185. But
I'm pretty sure Chandler was pushing for 170, because I remember he said something about one. He's like, I want you at your best at 170.
And that might be that might be one of the greatest fights of all time.
That's going to be awesome.
Going to be fireworks. They're going to come out and somebody's getting finished.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that fight will come out a little more quicker than Jones and Gane will.
Oh, yeah, because they both like to start out. Conor likes to come out and he likes to start quick. He likes to take the center and get you off. And same thing, Michael Chandler. They're gonna meet in the middle early.
Yeah.
It's gonna
No,
be,
definitely. That's gonna be. Oh my god. I can't. I want to watch it. It's
and
gonna be on ESPN
that,
Plus,
and
by
it's
the
gonna
way.
have that all that time to build up all the shit talking that's gonna go back and forth. And Connor's an elite shit talker.
Who's the for John Jones? If you can help me figure this out, who was like the last fighter he fought closest to Gane's skill set? It's a hard question.
That's interesting.
Gane's pretty good. Gane has a pretty good skill set. Like,
he's a very, very good technical striker, good at using the range and
Who was
distance
Jones'
and
last
staying
fight?
bouncing off of his feet. John Bones Jones.
Again, it's been 3 years since he fought, since he got in, and
Wasn't the I'm pretty sure, but let me see. Let me make sure.
yeah, for sure. Man, I just can't wait to see him throw a kick. He's fun to play in UFC 4. If you guys haven't played UFC 4, by the way, great game.
He finished dominant, or no, he didn't.
Reyes.
By decision.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty dominant performance.
Yeah. I feel like so Reyes, was that he's a striker?
Yeah, he's having a rough go in his last few fights. He's on a downward slide.
That's the thing. John's like such a ground guy, but like John never performed bad with strikers. Like
no, John, his striking is dangerous.
His defense is really good as well. Like really good. Like you don't ever see him getting in pearl too much.
No, he never panics. He's got a great understanding of range and angles. And when in the heat of it, when he gets hurt, he's able to weather it usually.
Yeah, and on the post fight or like the pre fight analysis when we do our little show, we'll be doing like more in depth predictions. But when you're talking about the Gane and John Jones fight, truly, like, who do you like right now as we stand? It's a week away. Like, who do you think's gonna win? Like, and again, it might change by then, but
I mean, they do say that. I think Gane is the favorite right now, but I just can't see. I can't bring myself to bet against John Jones. I think he's gonna find a way to get it done. He's an excellent fighter, and he's just gonna come out, and I think he's gonna stick to the game plan and be able to get on top of Gane.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one because they're both great fighters. Like this can go either way. And the reason that I'm gonna pick Gane, I was before like a week ago thinking Jones, but I recently flipped after watching some film on Gane. The reason I'm gonna say Gane is because one thing that John Jones hasn't caught on his chin was the power of a heavyweight. That's the only thing. That's one of the biggest things for me.
Scary. I mean, these are two big men that are just gonna be slugging at each other.
Yeah, look up how big Gane is.
Eventually, I mean, anybody could get knocked out at any time. Gane is.
Dude, John, his arms look thick in his recent pictures. Oh my gosh, man! I just wish it was today. Like I really do.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And basically when we do fights and whatnot, guys, we're gonna do fights on the more publicized, more published like fights, not the cards that are underwhelming and underwatched. Like we're talking about like 285, 286 with all of those ones, like the Connor versus Chandler. That's an example of the kind of things we want to do. How big's Gane?
So we got Gane at 6'4", 247. It's a big man. And
what's John Jones right now? I'm pretty sure he's probably is he 235? I think last time I checked he was like 235. Wouldn't be surprised if he was heavier.
No, he's probably walking around a little heavier than that, but
dude, it's like dude. One thing, dude, I hope knows to happen is like if John gets tested and God forbid something like that would happen. If something were like that history would repeat itself, like that would be the end for him.
I think that's it.
Unfortunately,
yeah, I think that would be it, and that would be. Let's just hope that doesn't happen. That's always. I guess that is a risk.
Yeah.
With his history,
unfortunately,
but,
with his it was like a nanogram of like whatever it was.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Hypothetically, Gane wins. What's next for John Jones?
That's interesting. I haven't really thought about that. I would say.
Climbs his way back up in the heavyweight.
Do you think he stays heavyweight? I think he will. I think he's committed to the heavyweight.
He's
division.
done enough to where like why would he go back down another division? Like he'll just destroy it. Like this is the next challenge for him. Like this is the only thing in his way. If he can't get it now, then work towards it. He's always done that.
I think if John Bones Jones does lose, I think he might need to win maybe one more fight in the heavyweight division to get the rematch, or he might get the rematch right away. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. He
brings in sales too.
And let's say it's a good fight and it's competitive, which I would expect it to be.
Yeah.
Maybe they run it back right away.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Honestly, I would love to see that. Again, this fight coming up with Gane versus Jones is gonna be insane in the fact that there's been so much hype about him in heavyweight, right? I want to see how he's going to move with that weight. Because we know him as elongated. He can move quickly. Like he's on his transitions, being on the ground, the way he spins and dodges, he's
or if
quick.
he's going to gas out and later in the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we saw that a little bit with Alexander.
And the 3-year layoff. These are big factors.
That could be one of the biggest factors of why Gane's really favorited, because how long it's been since John Jones has probably taken a hard punch.
3 years is a long time.
Yeah. No, like I said, like when you gain a lot of weight like that, I mean, he's sitting probably the heaviest he's been. It's like I just want to see how he's gonna move. I do.
It is gonna be a little interesting.
Yeah, I do. And I think when we're talking about striking in this, like when we're really touching on the striking, I think Jones takes more of a defensive stance on it. You think so? Or do you think
he's gonna be? You think he's gonna be more of the
counter slip jab? You know, that kind of stuff instead of Gane like really playing aggro.
Right, trying to make Gane miss and getting close.
I would love to see it, but listen, I think everyone wants to see is come out and them just fucking like that one with the really big Asian guy and the one guy with a mustache where they just come out and start punch each other in the fucking face.
Just it's literally like Rock'em Sock, no defense.
That was like when Chandler and Gane went out there.
That was a great fight. That might be one of my favorite fights of all time. If I'm trying to get somebody to get into the UFC, I'm telling them to watch that fight.
Yeah, watch that fight. Yeah, seriously, dude.
If you tell me you watch this fight and you're still not into it, then I can't help you.
Like every time you watch a card, you want it to be Gaethje versus Chandler. Like that's the expectation you want to have, and and rightfully so with this card because they're two of the biggest names in the sport.
This is big for the UFC. They're getting one of the biggest superstars back, and in the same year, they're also getting the notorious Conor McGregor back.
Yeah, this is a big year for them because
30th
you're gonna have this
anniversary.
Fight, you're having an Ultimate Fighter with two of the biggest names. Then the two of the other biggest names are fighting.
Yeah.
And then there's who's the one more card in between we were just talking.
We got Izzy and Pereira.
Yes, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. And then Kamzat will go to another fight this year. I wonder if he's gonna be fighting for the belt.
I don't think so yet. I think we need to see if he can really make welterweight. Assuming that he can stay at 170, I think his next fight, it makes sense for him and Colby to fight for the next contender spot.
You like Kamzat?
Like as a fan, or do I think in that fight?
Do you just like him as a fan?
Yeah, he's just
really
like the crazy dude. He's just like, I'm coming. I kill everybody.
Apparently, Joe Rogan doesn't.
No.
He's like, congratulations on the win, but like, why did you miss weight?
Yeah,
like, there's consequences. Why did you miss weight? like that, but that can't happen again. You can't ruin a card.
No, that's bad. They're lucky that they were even able to put out fights.
I'll tell you right now, Nate is lucky he didn't get in the ring with them.
Oh my god.
Or an octagon. Oh Jesus. I don't know. Like, how did that fight get planned?
UFC just is like, I don't know.
He would have flushed.
Yeah. On his that would have been a tough going away party for Nate. I'm glad it ended the way it did though. It worked out. He got to fight Tony Ferguson, and they got to scrap it out, have a pretty entertaining fight for their last fight. And we'll see what's next for Nate. Maybe he gets into boxing.
Well, he said that. He said something about like, I'm going to take over another's more. And it's like Cholo voice. Oh, man. I'm going to miss Nate, man. I'm going to miss if he doesn't fight again or if he at least one more. I'm going to miss him because he's such a character.
He's such an entertaining fighter to watch.
He's such a gangster. Like, he really is a gangster. And we touched on this earlier, but we are starting to transition to the new era. Sugar Sean O'Malley. Bo Nickel's getting a chance now. Yeah. You know, and he's got Togi Ferguson, like potentially one of his last fights he just fought. You know what I mean? So we're getting into a new era.
Light heavyweight. We got some young new
Glover,
champions.
took it from Glover. Yeah.
Sugar, he's gonna be, I'd say by 2024 champ. Definitely.
This is the biggest Sugar fan you ever seen. He's got the shirt on, dog. He's the biggest Sugar fan. Rightfully so. I'm a big Sugar. He got me really into to Sugar Sean.
I saw him in the Contender Series, and that's when
before he had all the hairdo and the crazy teeth. We love him, Sugar. He's such a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys who does all the customizable stuff, all that cool looking stuff, but he can actually put on a show.
But he can get into deep waters with Jan and still win. Man, that fight that got me riled up.
Yeah, he talked about that for a while.
Yeah, that just showed because I was like, all right. I know that he could piece people up with his hands, but like to go against one of the guys who's arguably one of the best pound for pound fighters in the sport, and to to go through it with him. I mean, he really did in every way. He got into deep water. He went on the he was able to get back to his feet after Gane took him down. He was able to strike with him, and I believe that he rightfully earned that decision.
And then thanks for Sean, Elijah Sterling.
Yeah, I think his next fight is going to be for the belt. It has to be. Why?
He's earned it. He beat Jan.
Yeah, he beat Jan, and that's what they said.
And who else is in consideration?
So
Jan was probably going to fight. You know what I mean?
If Aljo and Henry falls through, or if that doesn't happen, I think, why wait? Sugar's ready.
That's going to be crazy watch.
It is the Sugar Show now.
That's going to be crazy watched. Cool thing about Sugar, he's a big social media following as well, and he doesn't make a fool of himself either. Like he does funny stuff, he does funny stunts, he does funny like.
And he's a good dude too.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite. He's definitely a fan favorite.
Humble guy.
It sucks, talking about the John Jones. Like the one thing that sucks is like the past he did have, because like if you take out of that consideration, and he has like an influence like Conor McGregor who does good, like, or like just someone else in general, like
just not a negative
annotation on his name,
right?
Like we're already probably calling him the GOAT. We're probably he's talked about more.
I think then it probably takes away all the questions, honestly.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we talked about it the other day, but who are your GOATs?
Man, top three.
Johnny Jones is up there.
Yeah, I would put John Jones at 1. 2, give me GSP.
Yeah.
4, I'll go with the Eagle, Khabib.
Putting 4.
And this might be, I don't know what people are going to think about this, but I don't think he gets enough respect, and I got to get Money Mouse on number 4.
Or Silva.
Demetrius Johnson, and then...
You mean 3, Demetrius? So, John, JSP, Demetrius, and the Eagle.
No. John, GSP, Khabib, Demetrius.
Oh, Khabib before Demetrius.
Yeah. Then Anderson, the Spider Silva.
Okay, yeah.
That's my top 5.
Yeah, I'm looking at John, JSP, Khabib. So our top 3 are the same, and then I'll put Silva.
Silva had a Money Mouse.
He had a huge impact.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll say something about Money Mouse. I didn't really watch too much of Money Mouse, to be honest. So that I can't. It's kind of a question mark for me. But I know that he's a phenomenal fighter.
Oh man,
he's
I
crazy in
UFC.
UFC.
I still watch some of his fights.
Yeah,
I still go back and watch. I watch some of the new ones. I still go back and watch some of the UFC ones. Man, he was dominant in his time. He was different. He was a really, really good fighter.
Yeah,
underrated. He doesn't get enough. I think because of the way his tenure with the UFC ended, he doesn't really get that talk enough.
Yeah.
If maybe he just if it just ended nicely or whatever, or he just retired, he probably would get that respect.
Funny, but I used to watch a lot of Demetrius. I used to watch. He streamed games on Twitch. I was a subscriber of his for a while.
Oh yeah.
I watched him.
Yeah.
I had came onto Mighty Mouse's stream, not knowing at first that it was Demetrius Johnson. Watching this guy play games, and then I'm like, this is Demetrius Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Because I still knew the name and who he was. I watched some of his.
I just saw him fuck somebody up.
Yeah, and then he's playing StarCraft or whatever. Some random game. Some random game, man.
Yeah, but, a lot of fighters, I guess, are getting into, not just fighters, athletes in general, getting into streaming.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. He loves gaming, man. Oh, my Lord. But yeah, I mean, this year for UFC is big for people who are trying to get into it, because you would just have stacked cards.
Oh my God, it's been they started off the year with some great cards, and we got good cards all the way into April now. It's gonna be a great year for the UFC.
And then
big fights.
And you have not planned yet, but Oliveira is gonna be coming up soon.
He's gonna fight this year
soon.
You'll probably see O'Malley maybe early summer.
You think so?
I think so.
Early summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think if O'Malley's fighting, that's big. That's big for the UFC.
Yeah.
He draws a lot of eyes, a lot of pay-per-view. He's a main event fighter now, I think.
Yeah. At this point, he's earned it.
Even if he's not the main event, he's a lot of people's main events.
Well, yeah, which kind of sucks was when he who was he fighting that he poked in the eye? We were watching it live.
Pedro.
Yes. Yeah, and he's like, oh my God, hurts so bad. Oh my God, whatever. Yeah. But that kind of sucked watching that, because me and you were so excited for that fight. And then right in the eye, and he's crying.
He's like, I'm done. Yeah.
Oh man, that sucked. But then to come back and him come back for a fight, and then just to put on the show like he did.
Against the man that he did.
What more can he ask for?
And Jan is That is no knock on Jan. Jan is a great fighter, and he's got a tough fight against Merab, who he wanted. Who he said he said he's not going to be able to hold me down. Merab's one of the best wrestlers in the division.
Yeah.
I love that about Jan. He always wants the toughest challenge.
Yeah, it's like Volk.
Right.
Like Volk, who's... If we're talking like favorite fighters right now, you know, obviously McGregor's... I'm not going to count McGregor because he's the one who originally got me into the UFC. Respectfully, I'll admit it. Like, again, I was one of the people who really rode McGregor's tail, but then I started loving the UFC in general. But McGregor's like kind of just established up there. Like, I love Sugar, and I love Volk. I love Volk, man. He's so much fun.
Great champ.
Him and Makhachev Islam will go again.
I think so.
They'll go again.
I think he probably has to come back down and defend featherweight versus Jair. But after that, I think they might do it.
No, I don't think I'm gonna touch him at featherweight though.
I don't think so either.
No,
I don't think so.
Like,
the stylistic matchup, if it's gonna be somebody, they say it's gonna be Jair, but that's what they said about Brian Ortega too.
yeah,
I just think Volk is different at that weight class.
he's so good. Remember, me and him watched what he like, and he carved up Holloway, and it was just like Holloway was
Shocking.
bloody and bloody, just dead, and like Volk was like, "What, did I just fight?"
Volk got another round in him.
Yeah, Volk was like, dude, you want to restart?
That was insane.
Like right click on
Yeah.
the and restart the fight like UFC 4. Like that's literally what it was like. Like he's playing on easy mode or something.
And Max Holloway, before that, had some really, really good performances. Like he was looking good. That caught me by surprise. I didn't expect him
What's up with Holloway?
to dominate in the way that he did.
talking?
I think he actually does have a fight booked in for on a fight night in April. I think he'll be fighting Arnold Allen.
You were talking about him the other day, Arnold Allen.
Interesting. Two good strikers. That's gonna be a sick kickboxing fight.
Oh yeah, and like they're always fun though. Like the kickboxing fights are always fun, but wrestling like when it turns into wrestling sometimes is interesting as well. Like it's sometimes a lot of fun, especially when there's good ground and pound.
Yeah,
And I think we'll get that with John Jones and Gane.
Yeah, well, John Jones likes to stay busy on the top.
He does. He likes to hold the top, and then when the guy tries to advance, hit him with a few strikes,
Just
keep
an
him in,
elbow, yeah.
keep him in.
Mhm.
You know, he doesn't let guys get up too much.
No.
I know he likes to get the flat back and then just start nailing his head.
Just start driving out those.
But now you're dealing with like heavyweight strength too, so
Yeah, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a lot harder to just control your opponent than he's had it easier time in light heavyweight than he's going.
there's
to
never
heavyweight.
I feel like there's never this many questions about a John Jones fight because of the 3-year hiatus. It's like
That's a big thing, and the weight class advance. It's just a lot of people don't know what to expect.
no,
I don't think you can touch this one as far as betting.
no.
It's like it's been 3 years and he's going to heavyweight, and who knows what we're gonna see. It's interesting, man. But regardless, it's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah, and then, like the Jake Paul card might happen. No, but I do want to see him fight a UFC fighter.
I'd like to see that.
Not Anderson Silva, who's 50 years old at that point. Like,
Yeah, let him get in there with Hamzat. Let's just get it over with and just get Hamzat.
God, dude, not Hamzat.
MMA.
Please, God, not Hamzat. Oh my God, could you imagine?
Let's just get right to it, Jake. Let's see if you can really get. You want to.
It'd be worse than Holland. Like.
Oh my God. I hope it. I hope he does it. Let's see.
Hamzat will get a belt.
Yeah, Jake. If you really want to fight MMA, fight Hamzat.
Yeah, fight Hamzat. I'm good. I'll stay where I'm at. I'll stay where I'm at. I'm not fighting him.
Right. That's about your weight class.
You think Hamzat gets the belt next few years?
Yeah.
I think he gets it and holds it for a
I
while.
wonder if he ends up having to move up, though. I really wonder if him making 170 is going to be a problem.
I hope not. I mean, but like 6 pounds over is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
that was a lot. That was a lot. And like UFC doctor told him to stop, but it's like didn't ever happen to another fighter. Like I don't know, like
Right, and if the doctor's telling him to stop when he's 6 or 8 pounds away or whatever it was, like how bad? Like if he's already telling you to stop when you're that far away, like are you even able to really make 170? Is that something that your body is? Maybe he shouldn't be fighting that low.
no, probably not. Probably.
Right, like
Yeah, that Holland fight was just that was sad to watch. I felt
props to Holland though.
He's
for
on a
stepping
card.
in-
Holland's on a card.
For he thought he was gonna get a kickboxing match. Like he did not. He stepped in, and that was impressive. I mean, to get in there on somebody. A lot of people are afraid to fight Hamzat.
when he's such a good wrestler and you prepared for a striker the whole entire time, and then you get like one of the best wrestlers. You're like, wow, this kind of sucks. Like,
right.
You don't know. You don't know what to think. You haven't really watched your film on too much. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that really sucks about it, man. But Holland, I just got booked for another fight. He's on one of the cards coming up.
Yeah, he
is
did.
He's 260 or 2.
Oh man,
286.
Let me
maybe.
see.
That's what I thought, 286 or something like that. But yeah, Holland's gonna be on a card, which is interesting. I love Holland. I do like Holland.
yeah,
he's a really good fighter.
Yeah, entertaining. I love hearing him talk, even in the fight. He'd be like, "Oh, why'd you hit me like? Stop hitting me so hard."
Yeah. Was that the one where when he was like the bigger guy was like tapping his chin, like mocking him, and then Holland just hit him with a straight and knocks him against the whooper? I'll probably throw that up if I can find it. I'll throw that up for you guys. Oh man, 1 week from today. 1 week. So that show will kind of we'll predict the fights. We'll throw in some analysis. We definitely want to talk a lot about it. Because fight days are just the best, man. There's just so much because we know about to see some bloodbaths that night. Like
there's always a lot of hype leading up to it. There's nothing more intense than watching two of the highest trained athletes in the world meeting off in the middle and just fighting.
Just going crazy at each other. Oh my god. And that's especially with John Jones versus Gane, just two of the biggest, baddest motherfuckers on the planet.
Insane.
Just gonna go at it.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Do you think it could expect?
I think it could. I really do.
Yeah.
Especially if he's able to get some early takedowns and stay on top for a little while, I think it really could go to the distance.
I may be a little bliss on it, but Gane's ground game, pretty good, or
yeah. I mean, he can definitely hold his own, and he's got some jiu-jitsu skills for sure. But has he? I mean, Ngannou was able to hold him down. I mean, Ngannou's a lot bigger than Jones, but I think John Jones' wrestling style, where you just use your weight and stay on top of somebody and just keep pressure and elbows and stuff, I think he might be able to have some success with that.
If John Jones wins convincingly, I feel like that would probably be enough for Francis to be like, all right,
let's do it. Yeah,
because then the media is gonna be like, well, are you scared, Francis? Like, why are you fighting, Francis?
Right.
Because he'll be guaranteed he'll get a lot of money. A lot. So
big bag for that.
And I think that was his biggest reason why he got out. Was the money.
Absolutely. Or it was either the money or he just wanted to
do something
have
else.
freedom.
Yeah, pursue something else or something.
Be able to fight in other organizations.
I mean, he's proven a lot, though. For Francis.
Hey, he came here and he was a good champion for a while and put on a lot of good fights and knocked a lot of heads off.
A Rosas Jr. just got put on a card.
Yeah, he did.
Was he like 17, 18 years old? He just got put on a card.
Yeah,
good for him, man.
7 and now.
Man, I'm sitting here. Oh, he's in the fighting the UFC, dude.
Young kid.
Kid. Imagine starting to fight with him in like the football locker room. Back in high school, this guy's ready to kill somebody. Like, oh my gosh! Remember he won his fight. He's like, get SUV for my mom.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't even have his license yet.
So she could take him to like training and stuff. That's
my gosh! He's fighting a grown man.
Good for him.
A grown man.
And he won. He got a win last fight.
Oh my!
Insane.
Lord. Oh, I can't wait, dude. I can't wait for all these good fights coming out. It's just gonna be such a good year for UFC.
It really is.
Because we just had a great NFL season.
They got some big plans for their 30th year anniversary. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Personally, my favorite, and I've had to mention this guy, but one of my favorite fighters is Alex Pereira. I really like him. And I can't wait for him and Izzy to fight again.
Oh, me too, man. I wanted to.
Pereira stands strong, man. He stands strong and delivers blows, man.
He does have power. That's what got him the win in the last fight. Because I feel like Izzy was really getting it done in there. I think he was landing more strikes, having a lot more success most of the fight, and he got caught.
Yeah, and Pereira, Pereira has his name.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of has his name. Knocked him out before. A person to only ever knock out him, which is insane.
Yeah, he does a little bit. I don't know if there might be a little something to that, but
yeah, I mean,
it's gonna go down again.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Wait. But yeah, we got a lot of great fight, a good year coming up for the UFC. A good few months coming up for the UFC. Great fights, and we'll be there to bring you guys throughout the whole entire thing. Definitely, I'm super excited. You got anything else you want to mention about the UFC or anything?
just excited for these next cards.
Yeah, man, me too.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to get you guys a show on that Gane versus Jones. We're gonna be just so hyped. I mean,
it's gonna be probably one of the biggest events of the year.
And then we could always do an Ultimate Fighter recap or something. Cause
Yeah.
I really can't wait to watch Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, that's gonna be an entertaining season of the Ultimate Fighter this year.
Even if listen, maybe for that Chandler, I have a little long play. Maybe for that Chandler McGregor fight, I'll have this set up here. We'll put it on the TV and we'll do a little live watch party. Won't stream the fight because Daddy Dana will be at the door.
Right.
Open up, fucking Friday.
Yeah,
whoa. And then we'll set it up. We'll give you guys a little commentation, a little bit of reactions to it.
Yeah.
McGregor knocks him out. This is going everywhere. We're freaking out, throwing shit, again, going crazy. But
yeah, I'm actually a fan of both of those guys too. So I want to see just a good fight. It's gonna be high stakes.
McGregor's gonna get tested.
Oh yeah,
big time. McGregor's the underdog, I would assume.
That's gonna be interesting to see. I would assume
because he's coming off of
big injury.
Yeah, some losses too as well. I mean, he last fight.
Doctor stoppage.
The doctor stoppage. Your wife's in my DMs. Isn't Michael Chandler?
Once he lays that titanium shin bone against Michael Chandler's chin.
The titanium, yo. I mean, McGregor's been through, man. Got hit by a car.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's amazing.
How's the car?
Yeah, seriously. He didn't get hurt. The car did, though. They had to get a whole new car.
Totally.
But yeah, guys, that was we're gonna conclude it here. That was the first episode of Pass and Punch podcast. If the name, we kind of just came up with it. We talked about it, and because it's accurate, because that's literally what we want to talk about.
Mostly targeting football and fights.
That's we enjoy basketball.
This is what we like to talk about. This is what we like to do, and hopefully we reach people that like to talk about it and like to hear about it too. We enjoy basketball. We enjoy. Well, you're not a big baseball guy, but these are our two. What's that? What is that? These are our two premier. What we watch the most, what we enjoy the most. I mean, when we play games, it's either Madden or UFC. Like that. That's what we do. Occasionally, we may have NBA talk, but that'll mostly be geared towards the Sixers, if so, because we're Sixers fans. But yeah, maybe we'll throw in sometimes, but mostly going to be this. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and drop a comment. Tell me how we did. If I look like an idiot with my beanie on, let me know. You know what I mean? Just anything you want to say. Yeah, if you want if you want a poster up there or put the cat up there too, But yeah, subscribe, guys. Thank you for joining. Put the post notification bell on, and I'll see you guys later.
What are we waiting for?